Hi, good morning, and welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 634, and we're here live in Southwest Florida in my beautiful tropical backyard. I'm Kristin Omdahl. If you're joining live, please say hello. If you end up watching the recorded podcast, please also feel welcome to leave comments because I get notified from those all day too. Hi, Joe, Thea, Lisa, Audrey, Naomi, Lisa, Sharon, Judy. Good morning, everybody. We'll see where I'm at in my pattern. Hi, Judy. Hi, Melanie. Hi, Thea. Hi, Marcia and Diane, Kathy, Joyce. Oh, good. I ended up right. Hi, Emily. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. Hi, Val. I am working on a new tank top slash beach cover up slash dress. Not sure how long it's going to be yet. And Be So Sporty Bling. And this is knit. And the stitch pattern is so beautiful. So here's the neck. I'm working on either the front or the back. Both sides will be the same. And I started from the neck here. And then it's coming down in an A-line shape. And I'll open this up so you can see the stitch pattern a little bit better. Isn't that beautiful? But I'll set it down so I can read the screen for a minute here and say good morning to everybody. Hi, Constance, Marcia, Sunshine, Sabine, Rita, good morning, Grace, Naomi. Joe, what color am I using? This is Be So Sporty Silver Bling in color Caribbean turquoise. Isn't it beautiful? Hi, Janet. Got lots of this color in stock, so if anybody else wants the same color, you can. Hi, Jill. Hi, Thea. I love the color too, Joe. And I have a white bikini that I think would be so cute to wear this as a cover-up, but I haven't decided if I make it a longer cover-up for a tank top, you know, a summery top. But if the yardage makes sense, I'd really like to make it a little longer and wear a white bikini underneath it. So we'll see. Otherwise, it'll be a tank top to wear over jeans or shorts or anything else. Or even to wear over a dress and belt it like we do sometimes. But the color is just gorgeous and I love the stitch pattern. So it's a combination of two stitch patterns that I'm going with. It's a very miniature version of feather and fan, so like a small repeat of a chevron in the solid sections, which goes like that. And then there's an elongated twisted stitch, which is another stitch that I love using in knitting in between. So it ends up having stripes, but not stripes in color, but stripes in texture. Hopefully you can see that a little bit. So here's the more solid section here, and then there's the more open section. And then I know there will be people that will ask if I have something exactly the same in crochet, and obviously not. There's crochet and there's knitting, but I am seeing some similarities with this and a particular technique in crochet that I think will give a similar look. So I'm going to try to release both a knit and crochet tank top slash cover up slash small short dress at the same time. So I just need to pick a second color in Be So Sporty Bling to do that one. And maybe pick a coordinating color so that they look cute in side-by-side photos. Yes, Jill, I've heard of Marine City. Yes, in Michigan, I think so. Hi, Migdalia. And I think I missed some names. Thinking of doing indigo for my second color, by the way. Indigo is a deeper blue, like a dark blue, and I thought the turquoise and the dark blue might be a nice contrast. Hi, Christine and Judy and Soha. Thanks for joining live, everybody. Happy Tuesday. If anybody has any questions for me, please let me know. Hi, Donna. may attempt a row. Thank you, Migdalia. Let's see if I can attempt a row while talking. I'm on my non-pattern row here, so I think it's safe. Let's see. Worst case scenario is I make a mistake and then have to show you how to fix a mistake, right? I love that part too. So that makes it a win-win. I either get a row done or I make a mistake and have the opportunity to do a teaching moment. Sometimes on these rows I can look up too. I don't have to look for knitting nearly as much as I do for crochet. Yeah, Joe, it's a win-win for sure. Thank you, Jill. I'm really excited about it. I love the way it's turned out so far. And I love the idea that I have a similar look in my head for crochet, because I know as soon as I release any given pattern in either knit or crochet, immediately there are questions about the opposite. So whenever I can do something simultaneously, I can. And whenever I can do something similar, I try to, given if there's time. So in this particular case, well, and same with the mystery crochet along and mystery knit along shawls. I thought that it would have been, if I would have released one shawl mystery along, I know anybody who only knits or only crochets would have said the opposite, so I tried really hard to release them at the same time, and I did, so I'm excited about that. If you haven't joined the mystery crochet along or mystery knit along for July yet, you can find information on both of those patterns on my website, and the first set of instructions will be released on Monday along with the first set of video tutorial to supplement the instructions and charts. Each section will include charts and written instructions as well for both the knit and crochet shawls. And what else? What else was I going to say? Oh, and they're both going to be done in 3 parts, and each part will be released on the following Monday then. So a week from yesterday is the first release, then the Monday after that will be part 2, then the Monday after that will be part 3. If anybody has any questions about that, please feel welcome to ask me. They're both 1-ball shawls in Be So Fine Bling yarn, which if you watched the podcast yesterday, you know that it now comes in silver bling and gold bling. We have some amazing colors to choose from. There's plenty of time to still order your yarn if you wanted to order your yarn today. I am shipping as fast as humanly possible right now so that people can get their yarn in time for the mystery crochet along and knit along event. And and even still, there is no deadline, right? I mean, some people will start on Monday, some people will start whenever they feel like it. There's no rush and there's no deadline. You can join whenever you feel like it. Yeah, Desert Rose Gold Bling is an amazing color. You are going to love that, Joe. And everybody who ordered their yarn for the crochet along and knit along yesterday, your order's already shipped, and they will be dropped off at the post office immediately following the podcast. So every order that was placed yesterday has already been shipped. You've already received tracking information. We worked very late last night making sure all the orders will go out today. So thank you everybody who purchased yarn for the crochet along and knit along so far, and I'm committed to shipping as late as humanly possible to get everyone's orders out same day, every day this week, just to make sure that anybody that wants to start the mystery crochet along and mystery knit along on Monday will have their yarn in time. So there's still plenty of time to order. And like I said, I'm committed to staying as late as possible to get orders out same day. I like doing that. It's fun. It's a challenge. And it makes everybody else so happy too. Hi, Sean. I missed some names. Hi, Edna. Oh, Lisa ordered the same color as Joe. That's awesome. Naomi's excited to get her yarn. Yay, thank you. I'm glad you're excited too. I made it through the row. That's amazing that the next row is pattern row, and I'm not going to try to talk through that. Thanks, Joyce. I don't know, should I try a pattern row? Christine, is the mystery crochet out now? What I was just saying is that the first set of instructions will be out on the following Monday, starting the Monday coming up, but the patterns are available to purchase now, which will work the same way that the bag one did. When you purchase the pattern, you'll get a download link that includes what you need to make it and all of that sort of thing. And then next Monday, the first set of instructions will be included in the pattern. Then the following week, parts 1 and 2, and the following week, the final pattern, parts 1, 2, and 3 will be included. And all of that is written out and explained on the pattern page. And I believe Judy's been sharing links in the live chat already, so if you have more questions about it, everything is spelled out in detail with dates on the pattern pages. So you can find out about both the Mystery Crochet Along and Mystery Knit Along on those pages. And if you still have questions, just ask. Oh, Joe, you ordered sea glass. That's a pretty color too. Chris, not going to do a pattern. Yep, that's why I'm going to try. Let's see if I can challenge myself. So I'm going to try to do the patterning row and talk and read comments and see if I can make it across the row. It's only 97 stitches in pattern. And if I make a mistake, then I have to show you how to fix the mistake. So it's fine either way. I either get some progress or I have a teaching moment. I'm open to the possibilities. Thank you, Thea. I know I'm nuts. No lifeline, Grace. I live dangerously when it comes to knitting. I don't know why, but I always do. And I like the challenge of fixing mistakes. Always have. Yeah, only 97 stitches, Chris. In pattern, while talking, and reading comments and chatting, so. Let's see. Let's see if I can do it. Well, my life is pretty ho-hum and boring otherwise, so I guess this is the way I add excitement into my life. What do you know? Are my hands high enough for you to see? No, if you don't do this, it doesn't make you a coward, Thea. Sandshell has a knit project that has a mistake in it, and that's a bummer. And you don't feel confident fixing the mistake yet. That's a bummer. Well, I hope you find the encouragement along the way to fix it, because it is so nice to get past your mistakes and move on. Nothing like having a finished project with something where you overcame a challenge, right? All right, we are maybe at the halfway point here. Smooth sailing so far. I didn't even put stitch markers in. I have 13 repeats in here, and I didn't do stitch markers in between my repeats either. I know, shame, shame, shame. The pattern's even written to say put stitch markers in, because I know that it's the sensible thing to do. And I'm like, let's see how tough we can make this on ourselves. I know. Pretty silly. How many hours a day do I knit or crochet? It depends on my other obligations. When I have, if I'm spending a lot of time in the studio making videos, I don't spend as much time on pattern design. If I'm busy in the shipping, then I don't have as much time for pattern making either. But if I do, I like to get a good 6 hours in a day if I can. but it just depends on everything else that's going on. Okay. Oh yeah, we are in the home stretch now. We are in the home stretch. I think I did it. Yeah, and as soon as I said that, I almost made a mistake. Oh, Puerto Rico has gorgeous sea glass. That's awesome. I remember buying, at a bead show once, I remember buying African sea glass, which I thought was so cool. And I used it for a couple of necklaces over the years, and maybe even a bracelet too. It was so pretty. All right, we made it. Yep, made it across the whole row. Woohoo! So I guess we can do our off pattern, non-pattern row too. Why not? Would it be possible to make the mystery shawls bigger? That is a great question. I made them a little on the smaller side simply because I wanted to make them one ball projects in Be So Fine Bling yarn, which is the smaller yardage of all of my #1 fingering weight yarns. If you wanted to make them bigger, you could A, use larger crochet hook or knitting needles. B, use sporty yarn, Be So Sporty #2 sport weight if you wanted, and that with larger needles and hooks would make it bigger also. Or you could increase some of the sections of the patterns as well, but that would involve a little bit more. Modification of the pattern. So it depends on how easy it is for you to add increases in pattern or add more stuff like that. So it depends on how you are thinking to do it. But yes, it's definitely possible. You know what, Christine, it's just as, knitting and crochet depends on when you learn them, right? I happen to learn knitting and crochet at the very same time. So for me, they're absolutely interchangeable. Anybody that is more experienced in one it's not that it takes you longer to learn the second one. It's the perception that it takes you longer to learn the second one because you have a huge contrast between how quickly you do the one you're good at and how slowly you do the one you're not good at. Whereas when you first started the first one, you were just as slow then too. And it's always a perspective. I was probably terrible at piano when I started, but I don't remember that now because I've played piano my whole life. I've been playing since I was 8 years old. So what is that? 39 years. When I pick up my guitar, I feel like I am so slow and I can't help but compare it to my piano skills because I'm so much better at it. Well, the same is true if you are somebody with a lot of experience at knitting or a lot of experience at crochet. You don't remember how slow you were in the beginning because it was a long time ago and you've had so much more experience. So when you try something new, it is very easy to compare it to something that you're good at and say, oh, well, I'm terrible at this because look at how good I am at that. And that's not true. If you can try to avoid comparing your new skills at knitting or crochet compared to your experienced skills at knitting and crochet, whichever one it ends up being. If you can try to avoid the comparison and just enjoy the process, you'll get better at it too, and you'll end up being in a position where you could interchangeably work on knitting and crochet like me. But it comes with lots of practice and not giving up and not beating yourself up too much about it. And Christine, I really can't help you with inventory questions while I'm out here either, but you could certainly check my website and see if that color's in stock. Hi, Linda. That's okay, Linda. When the live stream podcast finishes and YouTube converts it into a recorded video, you can always watch it again too. If you couldn't find it there, Christine, then it probably isn't there. I try to keep my inventory up to date as much as possible. Grace, I'm making a new tank top slash don't know how long it's going to be top. I'm really liking the open work lace stitch pattern, and I think I'm going to write the pattern with multiple lengths because it's a top down, which I think is great, because then if somebody wants it as a tank top, we'll say cast off at this number of inches, and if somebody wants it as a tunic or as a beach cover-up or as a short dress, then you would continue the pattern to X number of inches. So it's going to be some sort of A-line top that starts at the neck, and then I haven't decided how long I will make mine. It'll depend on where the yardage is, I suppose. I don't like to dip into an extra ball of yarn if it's for 10 more yards, but if I think I can use up the yardage of any given number of balls and make it efficient, then it'll depend on how long I make it. So I'm either going to wear it as a tank top or as a beach cover-up over a white bikini that I have. I think white will look fantastic with this color. This is Be So Sporty Bling Silver in colorway Caribbean Turquoise. And if anybody else wants some, I know I have lots of this color in stock right now. Hi Lily, good morning. Thanks, Grace. Ooh, we might be to the point where I can show you a little tutorial here. Let me double check that I've got the right number of rows here. If anybody wants to learn the elongated twist stitch, I think. Oh yeah, we're ready for an elongated twist stitch. Anybody? So I want to see how I make these long rows real quick. It's so fun. If you've ever done drop stitches before, the drop stitches that you work in row, a lot of times they have you wrap multiple times and knit the next stitch, and then you have to carry all those extra wraps across the row, and then on the following row you have to drop them. No, you don't have to do that. Let me scoot closer. This is such an easier way to do drop stitches. And so what ends up happening though is that it twists it. And I actually prefer the twisted to the flat anyways. I think it gives a little more structure. I think it gives a little more texture, a little more visual interest. I prefer them twisted to straight. I'll show you up that real close. See how they're a little twisted? I love it. And the fact that it's so much easier to do makes me love it even more. So I'm glad that I stuck with the pattern while talking so that I could show you. I know, Judy, it's so hard to keep up with the scrolling comments, but I appreciate everybody being here, and I think it's awesome that we have so many people chatting that it's a challenge to do. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I'm going to insert my needle as to knit the next stitch, and while both needles are crossed, I'm going to wrap my yarn around both needles twice, then my working needle once, pull through, boom, the whole thing's done. So we'll do the next one. You want to make sure both your tips are around the same length. So like if I did this way, it wouldn't be as good. You want them both to have at least an inch there so that it grabs both the wraps. So it's wrap around both needles once, then your working needle once, pull through, and it drops all the wraps. Isn't that great? So I'll do this across the whole row, and not only will I have those elongated stitches, but I won't have any extra wraps on the row either. And you could do this depending on how many times you wrapped around both needles before wrapping once around your working needle. You could make this as long as you want. You could make it, these end up being about an inch long. If you wanted them a couple inches long, you would wrap more times. But for me and this pattern, I prefer doing the wrap 2 times. So it's insert your knitting needle as if to knit, keeping them both together and about the same height. Wrap your yarn around both needles once, then your working needle, wrap the yarn around both needles twice, then your working needle once, and pull through. And look at, we've got all those stitches and no extra wraps. And if you wanted to make this longer, you would just wrap around both needles more times. So both needles twice, working needle once, and drop. And I've done this tutorial in videos already. This is a stitch pattern that's used in a beautiful cowl pattern on my website, and also in a beautiful shawl pattern on my website. The Bonita Beach knit shawl is done in with this stitch, and so you can find that pattern on my website already. It's a half circle shawl, and you can also find a video here on my YouTube channel for the elongated dropped twist stitch, something like that. And you would also find that in my knitting stitch library. All right, so I'm going to back this up again so you're not looking at my nostrils. I'm sure that wasn't very fun. I didn't even look to see what I looked like. I was just trying to show my hands. But you can see from the opposite angle now what I'm doing too. So the tip to remember here is to make sure that both your needles are about the same length. Because sometimes when I knit, my working needle goes like this. That does not work for this very well, because you want to make sure that you're grabbing both those loops easily. And so once you start moving along and going quicker, you're more successful and more consistent when you've given yourself ample tip space up there for grabbing those extra loops. But I want to get through the row so you can see how amazing this row looks at the end, and then show you the little trick you need for working the next row. So we're about halfway through. All right, maybe I'll stop showing then and just start doing, so I can speed my way across, so there's time to show you what the next row looks like. So you can do this with any pattern, right? If you want to add some sort of a textured stripe element to any pattern, you could add a row of this anywhere. This is not adding any increases or decreases. It's just adding an elongated stitch, and you could do that in any row in any pattern. I think it makes really pretty striping. I think textured stripes are interesting and different from colored stripes, and this stitch definitely does that. And you can see that you really do end up getting a good rhythm going with it once you get the hang of it. I'm glad you're loving it, Joe. It's a process to learn something new, and as long as you can give yourself the patience and kindness that you need when learning something new, you can learn anything you want. The world is our oyster, right? And if you can follow directions, you can learn anything. Oh yeah, we're smooth sailing now. We're almost across the row. Yes, knitting needles come in sizes like crochet hooks. Same concept. It's about the size of that, the thickness of the needle, or the diameter of the needle. Or maybe it's the circumference. I can't remember if it's probably circumference. I don't know. Maybe it's diameter. But they're all based on metric sizes, and then come in US sizes too. But they're based on the actual metric sizing. These I'm using a size US 5 for this project, which is 3.75 millimeter. Almost through the row. So if you were doing this the other way of doing elongated drop stitches, you would have those extra wraps, right? So if we wrapped 3 times to knit once, we would have 2 wraps on our needle and 1 stitch, and then in the following row you'd have to drop those extra wraps and knit the correct stitch, and recognize which one is the stitch and which 2 are the wraps, because then you could make mistakes that way as well. So I think that this technique actually makes it a little simpler and a little more foolproof, or beginner proof, let's say. what level is the mystery knit along? I would say both of them are advanced beginner. I don't think they're terribly difficult. There are some different stitches used. I think in the knit one, the stitches used are knit, purl. No, I don't even think purl's in there. It's knit, yarn over twice, slip, slip, knit, and knit two together. And so the one thing that if you've never done before that you'll need to learn for the mystery knit along is when you yarn over twice, how you work into the front and back of that stitch on the following row to make the two stitches. But that's not a hugely difficult thing to learn, and I would say that that is the most difficult thing in the pattern, and that's why I wouldn't consider it more than advanced beginner. The most difficult thing in the crochet one would be a 3 double crochet cluster and a maybe a double crochet 4 together, which are stitches we use all the time, and I will definitely go over all of these techniques in the supplemental tutorial videos. So for that reason as well, I would say both of them are no more than advanced beginner, especially with all of the different ways that I'm teaching it with written instructions, charts, and with the supplemental video tutorials. Jill asked if I've been to that coffee shop. Oh gosh, no, Jill, I haven't been out to any place since the virus started. I've been only to grocery stores and the post office, and I think I have found a grocery delivery service that I like as of this morning, so I'm going to attempt that later today, and if that all goes well, then my only trip out of the house is going to be post office and riding my bike. I'd like to eliminate the grocery store. You know, I'm not enjoying it that much, so I'd like to take it out of my routine. Okay, so you can see now we have all of those elongated stitches made on our needle, but the tricky part now in the following row is working into them because they're so loose, right? So let me show you how I work the first couple of them. Because they're just these long loops on there now, you have to use extra care and extra focus to make sure that they don't slide off the needle. Look at how loose that is, right? So you're not going to knit or purl into them any different than you would knit or purl into a regular stitch on your needle, but you just need to pay a little more attention and just maybe be not that you want to be firm, but you just want to have a good handle on your work. You don't want anything to slide off because it could easily slide off. So I knit those stitches. I'm going to purl the next few. So I just wanted to show you that this finger is kind of guarding those from sliding off. Like, I'm not letting that stitch go until I'm good and ready. So this finger here is kind of working like a bodyguard or security. Just to make sure, because I mean, it's not difficult if you're knitting and purling same as you normally would, but because they're so loose on there until you get the next stitch on, it's a good idea to just have that little extra bit of security. And I'm going to make the super risky move of setting my work down the middle of the row, which I don't often like to do, but it's time to end the show. So I want to thank everybody for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed chatting with me and everyone else, and the updates and the show and tell. And if you have any questions about anything we talked about, please always feel welcome to leave them in the comments. I get notified of those comments throughout the day, and I certainly try to help people the best that I can. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you same time, same place tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.